So I will begin the workshop now. So as the title says, basics of UI design and principles for developers. Today we're going to discuss pretty much UI, UX, pretty much there is to design in this workshop today. And hi, so I'm Shreya and I am a designer, UI UX designer, and I work at a branding agency called Cabra. And I'm also a community organizer at Everyday Design. It's a design community that I kind of sort of founded with a couple of my designer friends. And I'm also a mentor at Hyderabad, which was also a community that I founded, was a part of founding team back in college. So that's a little bit about me. And today's agenda for the workshop is going to be, we're going to be exploring visual design principles and patterns, UI patterns, and we're going to even explore what is good design and what is functional design, and UI terminology, design systems and UI components, pretty much everything that there is going to be on a design file, how to read, how to inspect elements, and on Figma, and UX principles that pretty much that are for everyone, not just for designers. And we'll have lastly a design thinking workshop. Basically, it'll be a couple of activities that are gonna be happening. So this is just a gist in case you were wondering what all I'll be covering in this workshop. So let's go ahead. Principles of visual design. So
I think I'm still seeing the first slide, Shreya. I don't think the slides are changing.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's the agenda.
Okay. So these were visible, right?
Yeah, and now I can see the About You page.
Okay. 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 So I just covered the agenda, and here we are on the principles of visual design page. Is that visible? Yeah, I think it is. Awesome. All right. So basically, there are principles in visual design, such as balance, contrast, emphasis, unity, proximity, and a couple of them. And we're going to explore these in the following slides. Balance. What is balance? So basically, every element you place in your design has weight to it. It could be a pattern, it could be it could be text, or it could be something of color or texture, or whatever you place, right? It has a little bit of weight to it. And there has to be balance. Basically, what balance means is like how you put these elements on your design, and usually you try to avoid these elements to be cluttered, and basically create a sort of balanced design. So that is what balance means. And good as you can see the examples here, there is like good balance and bad balance. Bad design which does not have a balance, so all the elements are onto the one side of the screen. But a balanced design has elements put across the whole design, which is like looking good, right? So there is also different types of balance. One is that is symmetrical, and another one is asymmetrical. Although the shapes, as you can see, are smaller and like they are also not exactly centered, but there is some sort of balance that has been created. So that's about balance. And as you can see, there's this balanced layout where wherein there is also imbalanced layout, and you can definitely identify what's going wrong, right? In a balanced layout, the images and the text. Okay, Uma raised her hand.
I think the slides have stopped moving again.
Yes.
We can still see the principles of visual design page. Yeah, there you go.
Is this visible now?
Yeah, so that says balanced layout and imbalanced layout.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay, great. So this is what I was talking about. Good.
Perfect.
Yes. So, should I repeat or is that fine? Okay, let me repeat it again. So what I was saying is elements in our design, basically it could be text, it could be images, it could be patterns or whatever we use, have some sort of weight to it. And you have to create that balance when you design. So as you can see, there is this good, which is like two circles in a green box, and you can see that they are balanced. And why are the red circles imbalanced is because there is so much of space on the right side and it just looks incomplete. So whenever you're designing, you want to see that even if there is asymmetrical things that you're using, as you can see on the right hand side, you want to create some sort of balance. Ashika, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay.
I guess
Um,
you try sharing your slides one more time because I don't think they're changing.
really.
Yeah, it stayed on balanced and balanced. Yeah, I would stop sharing and just reshare.
I think
What
they're
soft?
moving now.
Pardon?
Are they moving right now?
No, not
Can't see.
now.
So that's it. Yeah, they're moving now.
That was
Yeah.
contrast. Yeah.
Okay. Shit. I just realized stuff. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, as you can see, the couple of examples that have been shared, balance layout has like images and text laid out in a way which looks good. And the below example shows where there's a lot of clutter, even though they are, they have played with text and like how the layout looks like, still it is a little bit cluttered and hard to read. So whenever you're designing something or whenever you want to identify a good design, always has some sort of balance to it. So yeah, uh, okay. Contrast. This is another principle, design principle, which means that good contrast is very essential for basically contrast differ, like basically you can tell like how different elements are basically you if you want to start if you want to make something stand out, right, you want to create that sort of contrast. Like the text, if you can see on the left hand side, it's very, the contrast is so bad that you cannot even see it, it is hardly visible, right? And on the right hand side, as you can see, white and like orange, the contrast ratio is better as compared to the left hand side. So that creates a good design is what I would say. So yeah, that's about contrast. And yeah, high contrasting values, as you can see, are basically create an effective kind of a visual thing that's going on. And if you take two colors which have very low contrast between them, it's uh, it's not that visible and sort of like that. Okay, so right, contrast ratios. There is like a standards that are like guidelines, basically by content accessibility guidelines. These are called, and there are ratings that are A, double A, and triple A. And basically, what that means is usually, AA ratings mean that the contrast ratio of the background and the text is basically 4.5 is to 1 for normal text and 3 is to 1 for larger text. I will explain this in a better way uh, once I'm like done explaining what the standards are. AAA means that the contrast ratio is at least 7 is to 1 for normal text and 4.1 is to 1 for larger text. Okay, so there is basically a website where you can check contrast ratios. Contrast ratios. Um, oh, this one. Right. So you can pick basically the color of the text, that's the foreground. So let's say we have a, you can use a color picker. Let's say the foreground is this, and the background is this. Or I could just use 0000. And the contrast ratio is 21:1. That means black on white is passing all the accessibility guidelines, and you can pretty much use this, right? And whenever you want to try out two different colors, you can always check the contrast ratios between them before using them. So whether you're designing a logo or whether you are creating an app which has a background, if you're, for example, if you're using yellow as a background, and you want to see what all colors go well with yellow. So you can always test whatever colors you want to test and see the contrast ratios. So here we go again. Give me a second, I'm changing back to. Okay, I think it's visible now. So
Yes, all good.
yes. So I've attached the two links that one is the W3, or which is just the accessibility guidelines. There's a lot of that you could check out, and also the link to the contrast checker which you could use. The next slide. There we go. Hierarchy. So hierarchy is a principle that directly relates to how the content.
Don't think we can see the hierarchy page. It's still on the web content accessibility one. There you go.
I think there's a bit of a lag that's happening. All right. So hierarchy is basically a principle that directly relates how well the content can be processed by the people, whoever is visiting your website. So it basically what it does is, like, the title has to be bigger so it can be scannable, right? Than the body, and just creating a visual hierarchy or often like helps to like just navigate for the user. So that's a bit of hierarchy. Okay, and as you can see this example, yeah, it's visible now. So as you can see this example where if you can see, you can create hierarchy by three ways. One is by using color. So as you can see, the title is has different color than the body text. So definitely the title stands out, right? So one is through color. Second is through size. As you can see, the title is like the title is actually bigger than the body, and font weight. So it could be bold, it could be italic, or whatever you could use to sort of create a hierarchy between text, basically. You could use a combination of them, like you could change the color, change the size, or you could use all of them together. Like this could be bold and blue color and of different bigger size, and the body could be like this. Or you could use the same size but just with play around with color and font. So that's how you can create hierarchy between text. And there's also another hierarchy that's happening here, is that all the images are sort of circled and like they're of the similar size because we want to give equal importance to them. So this is how you can create hierarchy. Next is repetition. So whenever things are repeated, it's like it looks very consistent, right? Whenever you want to reinforce an idea, that's when you want to repeat it. So it's also a great way to unify a design that brings out like a lot of different elements together. Um, so yeah, you could use repetition in terms of like colors. You could repeat typefaces. You could repeat shapes, or you could repeat anything basically. So it sort of gives this consistent design. Um, Next is negative spacing. So basically, you could use white space to sort of give emphasis to the right things. For example, um, as you can see this one where there's this title and there's just a lot of white space going on. So what that does is it's sort of giving the emphasis on the title, and the whole page is blank, although it's the blank, but there's a purpose for it. So white space, you could definitely utilize that to sort of highlight things. Um, this is also a couple of examples of negative spacing that that's pretty common these days, I would say, to sort of give emphasis to things that you want to give emphasis to. Uh, mm, Right. Reading patterns. So whenever you're going through an interface, I would say there are a couple of patterns that people usually tend to have. Their eyes. Sometimes when there's, for example, if you're going through a website that has blocks, you would read them like from left to right, left to right, left to right, and you'll go like that, right? And there are some websites which have like a Z pattern. So this is reading patterns that are commonly used by people, and UI design patterns. So what's this? Basically, um, everything that you want to solve is there is one thing that one of my friend always says is that everything you want to solve is always on the internet. So this is something like that. Whether you want to like whatever problem it is, design is always about problem solving, right? And if you want to solve something, or if you're looking for something, there is like a way to do things. And this library basically that I've just linked down has all the UI patterns, like models, how does the navigation bar should look like, whatever components should it have, why do you design things the way it is designed, right? Why? So it sort of, what it does is basically you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So you can just go there and like pick things and just get going. So one, what does the user want? And then you just find out like what sort of pattern should be used, and you just go and see like other websites, or just look for inspiration and like what other people are doing. And like, yeah, so has this pattern been implemented before? And if it has, then you just try to implement that in your design. And so yeah, so this is that. You could check out this. Mm, okay, basic UI terminology. So now is the part where we jump into a Figma file and actually see how things are placed, and just go about it. All right, so just a minute. In the meantime, if anyone has any questions, you could feel free to drop, and I will respond to them. So I've used an example of basically I've just picked up a Figma file from the community, Figma community, and I'm gonna be explaining a couple of things about basically design, right? So as you can see, whenever you enter, you can see logos of different sizes and icons, and this is called a design system. This is not different. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Basically, okay. So yeah, a design system basically contains like icons, logos, and buttons, uh, and the navbar components, and pretty much everything that is like made at one go and is sort of used again and again, right? So like in code, you have variables where sorry. Yeah, so basically a design system basically has all of these like elements like buttons, navbar, icons, um, components, and pretty much everything that you could possibly use. So why there is a need for a design system is basically it reduces your um it reduces the time you need to like recreate things. Two, it reduces time for you to search for things multiple times when things are placed at one place, right? So okay, so let's first go about buttons. As you can see, every button that is sort of used in a website or in a mobile application sort of has states. There is like primary, secondary, outline, link, and there are like different kinds of buttons that are used at different places, right? And each button sort of has different colors. Also, it has different hover states. So one is default, one is when you hover, one is when it's pressed, one is when it's disabled, right? And what's one thing cool about creating components in Figma is you could copy that component and you could sort of these are like components of a button. Um, and there is a way that designers set it up. And you could always change this in one go. So you could pick up any button you want from here and you could change it to anything you want it to be, right? So if you want to change the state to press, you can change it. If you don't want the yeah, also there are two icons on it. So this the left one is called uh, the head and this is called the tail. And the naming convention might differ from different for different organizations, but that's that. So you could remove uh, or you could add or you could control whether the text, basically the label on the text. So that's just how you could play around with components of a button. And let's go about okay, there is another um, grid systems. Let's so there is just one grid system that's been used here, but ideally this is like for mobile, and this is called the margin, and let's actually create one. So you could use column grids or you could use just the normal grid. Column grids are used for responsive designs. Usually it's 12 for uh, website and you could give it a gutter. Gutter value of 24, and so basically margin and gutter, and uh, this is just basically how a grid works. So it's for creating responsiveness. So let's say you want to place a image. So you want to place that image in like 6 columns. You're gonna use the next 6 columns for text. So what happens is when you're creating this design, when you're actually coding it up and you want to create a responsive layout, so this thing takes up the 6 columns of, no matter how small the size shrinks or how big the size becomes. So that's how like the image or text sort of moves along with the grids. Basically, that's why grids are used. The next thing is basically typography. So one is that every design file has set typography. Every project has different text styles, and basically like what is used for body and what is used for headings, and just all of this listed down. And also things are set up in local styles. So as you can see, text styles, you can set up different kinds of styles. Uh, that is for text, color, effect, and grid. So you don't have to use things again. So inside of textiles, as you can see, there is like bold. For body, there is like medium and regular. And basically, as you can see, you can inspect like what is the uh, weight of that, and how much is like the line height for that. And colors. So what are the base colors that have been used? And you can set up and you can actually set up and inspect so these values as well. And as you can see, properties. And that's how you can like view different colors. So that's about local styles. And there's also tokens that you can set up, which is a little complex to explain. But basically, you could set up basic values like these, as you can see, 800, 700, and then link it to a particular color. So you could sort of read from here what is using what color. Um, so text secondary, text brand, and stuff for what are surface colors, and like all of them are linked back to um, primitives. These are not set up well enough, but you could set up just basically the same local styles as design tokens over here as well. So that's about typography and design tokens and colors. As you can see, these are like the base colors, and yeah, this is just this color in there. What else could we explore here? I think that's it for here. Okay. Um, yeah, so we sort of explored grids and layouts. We sort of explored a little bit about typography, uh, fonts, and uh, design tokens, and like how to just read the values of different things, and how to change the component states. Um, so yeah, So that's a little bit of basics. And there is another thing called type scales. So as you saw, there is like different values that headings have, different values that body has. And there are scales that you can use. So basically, as you can see, there is like a base value which is used, and
I
you
don't
can
think the slide has changed. We can still see the basic UI terminology slide.
is it visible now?
No. There you go. Yeah, all good.
Right. So type scales are basically just scales which can be used to sort of have different values for like have different values set up for headings, body, and different things. So I was saying that if you take a base value of whether it could be a rem value or a pixel, let's say 16 pixels you take, and you multiply that with whatever the type scale that you're using. It could be minor second, it could be golden ratio, it could be anything, and you sort of use that to multiply, and you keep multiplying until you find the biggest one, and like the smallest size. So so there is no set limit, as in only these many weights you can use. There could be like maybe you could use 5 headings, 5 different fonts for like heading, and then 3 for body, 4 for let's say captions or footnote or whatever. So there is no limit to it, but you can keep multiplying it until you find a number that you want to sort of use in your design. So okay, so that's about that scales. And here we are about UX principles. Basically, we'll talk about good UX writing, what's accessible design, aesthetics versus functional design, and yeah, these topics. As you can see, color palettes. So usually every brand has a color associated to it. Some some brands have just one color and they'll have different shades to it. So that's like monochromatic basically. You have one color and you have different shades that you would use. Second is a color palette which has like complementary colors to it. Let's say black and white, like red has black and white to it, and codebar has codebar actually has, I would say, analogous. Kimberly, how many colors do we have? We have pink.
3, the codebar color is 3, yeah.
Right. So it comes under analogous. Another example for this would be Google. It has a lot of colors, right? And as soon as you see those colors, you're like, yeah, those are Google. I've seen it. As soon as you find red, yellow, green, and blue. So yeah, so that's about colors and good UX writing. So is UX writing that important? I would say yes, because it's sort of, what it does is keeps the user engaged and also have fun and not be frustrated. As you can see, Duolingo has this text when you want to end a session, like it says, wait, don't go. You're right on track. If you quit now, you'll lose your progress. So it sort of is convincing you to do what it wants you to do, right? So I think the UX writing is very important when you want to convince the user to do something. um this 404 page, for a, I think it's for a travel website, and it says, sorry, this page went on a vacation. Would you like to be there as well? Find your dream destination. So instead of the user being frustrated, he just could have a small laugh, a small smile on his face when he reads that. So you could create writing in such a way that you could reduce the frustration of your user. So that's why writing is sort of important, I would say. And UX laws. The first law is called the Fitts law. It says the time to acquire a target is a function of the distance to and size of the target. As you can see, if there's a CTA or call to action button, if it's placed on the top, it's often you can miss it. There are very chances that you will miss it, and also it's very hard for your hand to sort of click on it because it's basically a mobile and you can't reach till there, right? But it's very easier for you to reach when it's like at the bottommost position, and it's faster. So as you can see, if you are a lefty, it's very easier for you to sort of touch. Uh, Basically, these are the touch points, right? So how it's very easy for you to like touch at the bottommost, or like even until like this green area, it's like you can touch that very easily. And if you're using only your right hand, it's easier for you to reach out to the rightmost elements easily. And if you're using both of your hands, it's like this. And so it's always like whenever you see CTAs, right? Especially on mobiles, I would say it's usually at the bottommost. Even when you see navigations, right? Um, let's say the shopping cart, or let's say the bottommost nav that has like home and things like that, right? It's always at the bottom because it's sort of easier that way. Next is Hicks law. The time it takes to make a decision increases with the number and the complexity of choices. So as you can see, there is this design uh, back in 1998 Google used to have, and it's too crowded, right? Too crowded for um, just a search page where I would just like to search things and just so basically right now, as you can see, the Google's page is just a basic search and search bar and just search. So that's that, and that's Hicks law and Jacob's law. Users spend more time on other sites. Basically, um, all the if you can see, all the shopping like apps looks similar, and all the food delivery apps have a similar sort of a navigation or the user flow basically. And as you can see, this resembles like something. What does it resemble? Like if you can see the right hand side, right, you can see it and tell that this is something. Can someone text in the chat? What do you think this is? Facebook. Yes, it's YouTube basically. There is like recommendations on the right hand side, and there is these channels, and basically what you're viewing. Yeah, so that's YouTube. So that just says, right, that we are very familiar with things that we use on a like a day-to-day basis. So you want to create apps, or even if it's a new app, if it has a function and if there's something that's already existing in the market, you want to steal everything that they have to sort of create that familiarity is what I want to mean here. And next is law of proximity. So regardless of the shapes that you use, if things are closer to each other, you would think of it as one group. And as you can see, if there is like a space between them, you would think that there are like three groups, right? So uh, there's another example. So as you can see in the first layout, everything is grouped together, and you can really not say what kind of hierarchy is there. But on the right hand side, all the similar looking ones are sort of grouped together, and you can see there's like a hierarchy that's going on. So so basically what you would think while you're looking at the second one is that these three are one thing, and these four are like one thing. You would think it that way. So that's law of proximity. Aesthetics versus functionality. This is one of my favorite topics, I would say. Because as you can see, there is this cup. It looks very cute, very pretty, but you can't really drink out of it because you're gonna poke your eyes, right? And so basically, uh, do we want something that looks really good but is not serving the purpose? Definitely not, right? So, um, what is good design then? Is it something that looks really pretty, or is it something that is shitty but is still doing the job? I would say good design is something that is that is sort of having a balance, or at least trying to have that balance, right? When you're working in an organization, of course, there are times where uh, there are constraints like time, constraints like resources, where you can't always give the best output, where you can't always make delightful and like pretty looking things, but you always want to have that sort of a balance where you're trying to make your user do what he's supposed to do, at the same time making it look pretty. uh, that's what I would say. And yes, art is not design, right? So design is always about solving a problem. And right, good design is invisible and it's very intuitive. As you could see that you could identify, right, that it was YouTube. As you, it was just so intuitive and it feels like nothing. I would say that's how good design is. It makes you think. It doesn't make you think at all. That's what good design does. So here we have an activity. So basically, we'll critique this website below. It's the dramalibrary.com. You could search it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the website and we're going to see how the navigation is, the navigation bar, what ideally what we want the user to do on the website, and what is happening basically. So what we're going to do is basically jump onto this jump file, which is I've like put down after suggest changes here, and we're going to write down things that are good about this website, things that are bad about this website, and things that we could improve, right? So that's activity one, and once that's done, we'll jump to the activity two. All right. So yeah, thanks Aishika for dropping the link. That's the link. You guys could check this out, and the jump file link. Let me share that. Thank you for also sharing that. But I think the website link is broken. So I've shared it again. So you guys could go through the website and just suggest like things that are good about the website, things that could be improved, and things that you can tell that's like bad. All right. So if you have any doubts, just drop, or you could unmute yourself and let me know if you have any doubts or you do not understand what I just told. So yeah. Also, for those who are using like shapes to write it down, you could use sticky notes. So you know what happens is like your name is written on the leftmost bottommost part, and it's pretty cool to see like so many people's names. Right, I think everyone is done. If anyone wants me to wait like proper text, or otherwise like that, then just wait for everyone.
Your mic is a bit muffled.
Oh,
There you go.
is it-
Yeah, that's go. We can hear you clear. I think you may have been leaning on it.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So there is Taylor, Farhat, and Alina was there. I think she's done. All right. So yeah. So basically, this is one way how you could gather information of sorts of what's going wrong and identify what's going right. Uh, Basically with the design and sort of jot down like similar points and like see what could be improved. Basically, this is one way you could redesign or change things. So um, yeah, so that's that. And we'll move on to the next activity that is it's visible. The next activity is to pick up your favorite application. It could, yeah, so it's a mobile application that's your favorite, and list down like the 10 UX flaws that you can identify in the design, basically. Right. So we have discussed like a couple, not a couple, but like a more than couple of them in the previous slides. But there is like an extensive list of UX laws that you could find them on lawsofux.com. So what I would suggest is to sort of just have a quick glance of uh, UX laws and go and pick your favorite application, and we could sort of list down like the 10 UX laws you could identify or sort of see. So that's the second activity. Let me create another section for this. I think everyone is done since I do not see any cursor moving. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and read them. I'll start with Navy's Octopus Energy, favorite in terms of design. So she mentions Jacob's Law and Fitts Law, Napa at bottom of the app. Yes. And Wonderstop effect, saving sections, section and highlighting on the landing page. So user might be more likely to remember and go back to where when navigating the page. Yes. Yes. And oh, I really like this one by NRJ. Um, he's just not just written about the loss of UX, but also like things that he's observed, like contrasting size and colors, placement, like he's written that it's balanced. So that's nice that you're observing the whole design. And we have Vinted. I've never heard that before, but I'll go check it out. A law of proximity used between items in different sections, that is particular brand previously viewed. Okay. And informative style with an important update is a different shape of right. Okay. Next we have Amazon Photos. Usable for all users. Enhancing accessibility, readability, trust. Oh, I love this by Lena. Static design, privacy settings, data security, messaging, feedback access, efficient design decisions. Oh, I love how detailed this one is. Great job, Alina. And we have from Uma, that's dark green mode with appealing cards. Song cards, fade gradually. The buttons are nice. Yeah, amazing. Okay, the last one we have Hinge, Explore, one profile at a time. Right. Cheapest law somewhat resembles other sites in terms of swiping. Yes, even Tinder has this swiping thing. Law of proximity, questions and their answers are grouped together, creating a segregation. Yes, law of similarity. Different sections are designed in a similar fashion for them to look distinct, yet look aesthetically pleasing. And there are so many other laws. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so yeah, so that's end of the activity two. And let's go back to our slides. Right. So conclusion. Right. So what did we do in today's
Oh,
workshop?
I don't think the slides changed.
Right now?
There you go.
Yeah, so what did we learn in today's workshop? We learned about visual design principles and also UX principles that could enhance our designs or disrupt our designs and how to go about that. And we saw how to read a Figma file, inspect elements and basic design terminology and what does a design file actually consist of. And we also learned about good design through the design thinking workshop. So I hope that was insightful and you learned something new today. And I have attached a couple of resources over here. So you could take a screenshot or sort of save it. Let me know when you guys are done taking a screenshot of it. Um, So yeah, that's it from my side today. And these are just ways you could connect with me on X or Twitter or on LinkedIn or on you could check out my Behance profile as well. So yeah, that's it for the workshop and thank you for attending. It was amazing to host this one. So yeah. Um, have a great day ahead, and I love hosting it. And thank you, Kimberly, so much for the opportunity. I couldn't be more thankful and happy about it.